Hi guys, John here. This video today is going to be an update video on the Aqua 1 Mini Reef 120 litre tank. For you guys that don't know, I started this tank on the 17th of July and it is the 18th of October today, so that just puts me over the 3-month mark, and I hadn't made a video in around 3 weeks, so I just wanted to put a video out of showing you an update on the tank, as I have added quite a few things, not only to the tank but to filter media at the bottom, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I'll start off by saying this tank has now been running for 3 months. It's fully stocked. I'm not adding any more fish. If there's ever going to be more fish I will add, they'll have to be very small, or like that little guy up there, along the same size, or like a blenny or something like that, but definitely not a waste producer like my wrasse or angelfish, my Heraldi angelfish. I'm not entirely sure if you can hear me over the fan, so I'll just put it off so you guys can hear me a bit better. Hopefully that helped. So like I said, it's been running for 3 months. It's fully stocked. I added a couple of new pieces of coral to the tank. From the last video, I believe I added more zoanthids at the bottom, and I added a new piece of live rock and 4 more pieces of coral that I will be showing you. And the 4 new pieces of coral are SPS coral, so they're the short polyp stony coral, which is quite interesting, and they're very fun, but a little bit challenging to have. So let's start off and getting a bit closer to the tank. So I'll show you one of the new additions to the tank. It is a fire goby, also known as a fire dartfish. You can get these in 2 different colors, I believe. You can get them in red, and then you can get another one in a purple, and they're called a decora goby. He's very skittish, or she, as I might say. It's been in the tank just over a week, still getting used to everything. If you can see on its tail, it's been quite beaten up. Not a lot, but I mean a fair substantial chunk of the tail has been bitten off. That was mainly because it's obviously the smallest fish in the tank, and putting it last wasn't the best option to do. So it was bullied by not only the clownfish, but the angelfish, and especially the coral banded shrimp, which was a big which is weird because coral banded shrimps, or most of them, aren't very aggressive, but the one I have is, and it just likes to attack everything in its sight, which is, it's a bit of a shame, but I guess I can't stop everything. Nature is nature. So like I said about the zoanthids, I added these zoanthids. I believe you saw this zoanthid in the last video, but they weren't glued to the rock. Now all these zoanthids are glued to this rock. They're not going anywhere. Don't take any notice of that. There's a bit of algae problem. Not algae problem, but it's not algae as such, because this stuff actually like stays on the glass. You have to get like a razor to take that off. So it's not actual algae. If you see in the tank, I've actually got no algae. If it focuses on the actual rocks or anything like that. So it's just a bit of like, I'm not sure what you'd really call that, especially around the edge where food gets trapped here. I get a little bit more of a build-up. So these zoanthids have been growing great, or zoanthids or palithoas, I'm not entirely sure which ones they are. I just consider them all under the same zoanthids. They are doing absolutely fantastic. They are multiplying. If you did notice, I had 3 weeks ago, let's see if this focuses, I had 1, 2, 3 of these ones, and now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more, so we got 7 all up, which is quite interesting, and that happened in 3 weeks. I know that might be a bit like long, especially for some, but I'm happy that happened in 3 weeks. So I got basically like 1 a week, which I was happy with the growth and the expansion of them. These haven't grown at all. I know that these ones have. I got them, and there were 10, and I think there's like 18 now. So I cut 8 more 8-9 more have come on. So I'll just give you a quick overview of the tank, of where everything is and what's the names of it. I have, oops, sorry about that guys. I've got an elegance coral here. I have got a bubble tip anemone that's not so bubble tip, but it's a bubble tip anemone. I have a flat brain coral. I have a, I believe, yeah, it's a frog spawn. It's supposed to be purple, but it's really brown under these lights. I have a green tip torch coral, green star polyps, and I'll get to these 4 corals a little later as a small surprise. But everything's going well. If you can see, everything is nearly covered in coralline algae. You can see that in about 2 weeks happened, that like patch. Obviously it's happened over the course of the 3 months, because that was the first piece of rock I added to the tank, that one, and everything else has been coming along extremely well. So I'll just show you an update on the clownfish. They are going extremely well, growing like crazy. If you guys don't know, I have a pair of photon clownfish, the like original photons, and they're extremely awesome animals. They love the anemone. I have a Heraldi angelfish, a black-finned Heraldi angelfish. I have a Melanaris wrast, you can see in the back there. I have a bicolor blenny that likes to hang out. Well, there he is, if you can see him. See if I can zoom in on him. That's him. And then the newest addition is the fire goby, and you can see extremely bright, and you guys can't really see that well, but it's actually got like a purple head that is almost fluorescent. So the new stuff I've been added to the tank down the bottom is some Phosguard. That was to get rid of my phosphate levels in the tank, as they were quite high and I was getting some too much algae growth. I reckon I've only been having this on the tank for a week now, so I can't really tell you how good it is. I might switch over to GFO, or I might stick with this and just see how my levels are. If you guys want to know what my tank parameters have been over the past couple of weeks, you can have a look here. You can see that from the 26th of the 9th to the 10th of this month. So the nitrates have been pretty stable at 5. Phosphate's what's been jumping around a bit, and that could be due to why I am losing one of the new corals I purchased, or 2 of them you could say. I'm not entirely sure, but they look like they're on the rebound and coming back. So that's why I was at 0.13, then after water change 0.09, and then stable normal 0.21, which was very high. Calcium very good, staying around that. Carbonate extremely well. Salinity 2.9 was a miscalculated thing, but I just left that on there, and 2.6 is the normal what I've had that, and magnesium. So like I said, I've been adding the Phosguard to the aquarium in a 2 little fishies reactor, and something else, if you can see here, I've been adding acro power. I'm not sure if it's me thinking I'm getting the worth out of this, but I do believe I'm seeing extended coloration of the corals, not only the SPS coral, but the anemone especially. Out of all of them, the color growth, the color enhancement on them. And if you want to just have a bit of a read, you can. It kind of sucks because it curves around the bottle, but all this is adding amino acids into the water, and I believe it really does help. So those are the things I've recently been adding, that has been done over the past 2 weeks. So now I'll get on to the sump. I'll show you the sump here. The sump is, I'd say, a little dirty, but as all sumps, some are, some aren't. It just depends on what you have in the sump. As long as everything is kept clean, it's not like rotting. That's what you want. So if you can see, I have the two little fishies reactor jumping away in there, and if you can see, my media is on a good tumble. Maybe you can see it better up here. It's tumbling perfectly. This stuff, you don't want a massive tumble. You just want a light roll of you just want good water flow through it. So that's one new thing I've added. I have added more bio balls or marine pure balls to the sump. You can see that I've added quite a lot, and I had the initial blocks that were in here. You can also see if I can, what that is, see the growth rate on my caulerpa. For you guys that saw if you ever saw when I introduced this was just a small clump of caulerpa. It was actually one strand of caulerpa, and it has grown tremendously well. Exactly the same with the Cato. If you can see this, you'd be amazed. And my hand is a big hand, and this is growing absolutely phenomenally. So all there, that's them. I just have these guys in the sump here, and they just roll around like that, and they're just put under a fluorescent light. I'll be changing that over soon. It's not the best, but it works. It really does. So in terms of filtration, for you guys that don't know, I have a mechanical filter sock. Falls through that, goes through the marine pure balls, through that into my Aqua One skimmer, which I've tuned perfectly, and it's skimming the best I've seen my skimmer ever skim before. Goes then through the macro or micro algae, as some people like to say. Then it goes through to my sorry, what's the name? The Phosguard, the phosphate remover. Then it goes back through the return pump and back into the tank up top. So that is the deal with that, and I'll just show you the skimmer. If you can see, it's skimming like that. That is probably a good foam. Usually it covers the whole top, but I cleaned it out this morning, so see if this focuses. You can see all around the edges, and if you can see up there, it's doing a good job. And to show you even better what it's pulling out, that's what it's pulling out, and that's 2 days worth. So I have to clean that out every 3 days, or I can leave it to a week. It does not really affect the skimmer in any way. You can see that it's not pushed down all the way. That's probably why it hasn't been working efficiently as I'd like it. Wasn't pushed down all the way. Now that should pick up and start pumping out the good stuff again. So that's the main changes with the tank. Now I'll get on to showing you the new coral that I have purchased. 4 pieces of coral, 3 bird's nest and 1 Dallas coral. If you can see, that coral is a Dallas coral. It is a SPS, like I said, so that means short polyp stony. They are physically hard. If you touch it, it is hard, very brittle. They break very easily, and they're, I'd say, less expensive. It depends on what you get, but it's better to buy small pieces like these and let it grow out than buy a big colony and it die. So that's what I've aimed to go for. So if you can see, I have 2 bird's nest coral up there. I have one. I'm not entirely sure if you'd call it a blue bird's nest or a white bird's nest. That is the one facing the first one. It has a brownish base, like the base color, but the polyps are white and almost blue, so I'd say blue. But some other people would disagree. The one behind it is a pink bird's nest. You can't really see the polyps on that as well as I'd like. You can see kind of them, but you can see the blue ones especially. The pink bird's nest is a very, very thin fuzz. You can't really define the polyps. And then I have a green bird's nest that isn't doing so well, but it just might recover. If you can see, there's quite a lot of bleaching around the sides and the base. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It was actually up there, and I thought that might be one of the reasons that it was bleaching, because it was just getting a bit too much light. And some birds' nests just don't do well under high amounts of light. So I moved it down here, and it actually seems to be improving quite a bit. The polyps are extended. If you can see, they're all out. They're a nice fluorescent green, which is quite interesting, and it looks great, especially under the blue light. You can see that one. I have not been able to capture the coral glowing under the light, but as most people know, cameras don't pick it up too well, and if this is really glowing, you'd imagine what it's like in real life, like through my eyes. You can see the tips of that glowing quite prominently. Then you can see the glow on there, and you can see that little guy, that little baby brain coral is doing well. And put the lights back on. So that's the main update of the tank. Post any comments in the videos, in the video below, of what you'd like to see of the tank, or any improvements you think I can make, or why you know the bird's nests aren't doing so well. They are under the Glow lights, which personally are really bad, but they do the trick fairly well. When I say really bad, they're good for illuminating the tank, not as such for growing coral. They're good for growing like the long polyp stony, the LPS stuff, and the anemones and stuff, but it just doesn't give the color or controllability that someone would want with a light. And I'm upgrading to an AI Prime. For you guys that don't know what that is, it is a small compact LED. It's an aqua illumination prime. It gives all the functions of like something that's well known, like a Radeon, or something like that, any high brand light. It's fairly cheap, running yourself usually in Australia at around $300 for the unit, and then you have to buy the mounting kit yourself, or mount it however you want. It gives you full controllability, sunrise, sunset, all Wi-Fi controlled, no controller needed. You can either do it on your iOS or Android phone, or on your laptop, which I'd be doing it on my computer, and focusing, and programming the light, and that should give me much more controlled and much more efficient growth on all the coral, and illuminate the tank just to make it look much better, as a well-lit tank makes all the difference with coral growth and algae outbreaks and stuff like that. And if you heard that noise just then, that is the chiller starting. I have my chiller to run at 25 degrees, and it turns on at 26 degrees, so it cools it back down to 25 degrees in a matter of 20 minutes, I'd say. Yeah, that's the usual time, which is extremely efficient. This chiller is a Halia 250A. So it's rated up to 250 litre tank, so double what I have now, which will be good in the future when or if I choose to upgrade. But the tank is doing well, and it's coming along nicely. So you can ask me, you go on Facebook and ask me any questions if you'd want, or tell me what you think I'm doing wrong, right, improvements. If you guys know why the birds' nests are having a bit of trouble, and anything like that, but I will be keeping you guys updated, and hopefully everything will be fine. Well, see you later.